done it! I cannot believe it! I swear you'll never see anything like this ever again!
Hello everyone, we are Through a Goal, a podcast where we talk about football and pretty much nothing else. My name is Sam, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, and very best friend of the whole wide world, Elliot. Hello, Elliot.
Hello, Sam.
How are you? How was your week? How's your 2 weeks been? Because we were idiots and didn't back up anything to a hard drive.
Yeah, well, I've had a few days off in that time for the first time in months, which has kind of allowed me to relax a little bit and kind of get some essential stuff done. And I am tonight for the first time watching the Super Bowl, like in full. So I'm quite looking forward to it.
Excuse me, wrong kind of football. We talk about
football. Oh, okay. We talk about soccer and not very much nothing.
Pretty much nothing else.
No. How's your couple of weeks been?
Fine, yeah, got a new TV. I told you that last week, but again, no one's heard it.
Yeah.
And no, that's it. That's
Nice.
the highlight of my two. Literally, nothing has happened since I got the TV.
Yeah. I mean, it's because you've been sat in front of the TV, hasn't it?
Oh, it's so good. It is so good. So, a lot has happened this week in football. Mike Dean and Lee Mason are apparently they're Premier League elite referees. Apparently. Now, Mike Dean is responsible for sending off Bednarek, which got overturned midweek, and then he sent off Souček, which no doubt by the time that this goes out, it will be overturned. Let's face it, it was a shocking decision. Now, where is the punishment for Mike Dean for that? Because you cannot have video assistants looking at it and you could get two decisions wrong like that. Where is the punishment for Mike Dean? It won't be, because he's Mike Dean. He'll referee Man City Tottenham, wouldn't he? Like in a top game, because it's Mike Dean. But you can't have potentially 2 red cards rescinded within a week and not have some form of punishment for that.
Yeah, I mean, it's really bad when you're getting stuff wrong, even with VAR's assistance. It's like, come on, that Bednarek one against Martial, it's blatantly a dive. There's no contact. It's not a foul. And he's gone over. He's had VAR's assistance, and it's still come to the conclusion that it's a red card. And then Souček, what on earth is he thinking there? What is the thought process to think that someone who looks to be the nicest blokes in the league, apparently loves potato salad, has just gone and assaulted? I can't even think who it was.
He's lifted his arm. It was
Mitrovic.
Was it Mitch? I think it was Mitrovic. Yeah, he was lifting his arm to get out of the way of him. Like, everyone does that. I saw a couple of tweets. I see loads of tweets because that's what I do with most of my life. Yeah. It was, what is it? You know how like BT Sport always go to
Peter Walton.
I hate that. And they always go to Peter Walton, and it's like, well, yeah, that's what you get for having limbs. You know, you've got to face those kind of stuff. It's just like, but one thing that I did see, and it summed it up perfectly, is, and let's discuss this. It's not the technology that's wrong; it's the officials. The state of refereeing currently with VAR is awful. Yeah. It's so bad. They're there to do clear and obvious assist the referee. Mike Dean, I think he watched that replay of Souček 12 times, I think I saw.
Yeah, he was there for a long time, wasn't he?
And then he still decided to give it a red card. Now, game's gone. If that's a red card, it's just moving out of the way.
I think the best thing to do in that position is that if you're unsure, you err on the side of caution and that you don't send him off. It's 97th minute. It's not Thomas Souček's involvement in the rest of the game is going to be nothing. So you let it go. And if there is anything wrong that is massively wrong, and it should be a 3-match ban, that will be done retrospectively, because they can do that. But
but what I don't get, this is the thing that still boggles my mind, is that the officials have said, and VAR, go to the screen, look at it, and both Lee Mason and Mike Dean have both gone, watched the replays 10 million times, seen it in slow motion because that apparently helps, and they've gone, yes, that's a red card. Yet then, like a couple of days later, the referee board, whoever it is, FA, will watch it and go, no, that's not a red card, and revoke it and rescind it. And it's like, how have we got that technology and we're still getting it so wrong? How?
Because the problem is they are decisions that are objective. they're not black or white. It's not you're offside or you're onside.
Yeah.
But yeah, like they're in the huge minority of people that think that is a red card, and I don't know if it's getting affected by the VAR official in their ear at Stockley Park saying this is why I think whatever. But you think they've got to be strong enough to say no.
But why are the referees so protected on this? What I don't get it. David Moyes comes out and he says that was never a red card. The officials are, awful. He gets a £10,000 fine or whatever ridiculous like that. Where's the explanation from Mike Dean? Where's the this is why I think it's a red card? Help us understand. Why on earth did you say, I've watched that 12 times, I think he's done this? We may still disagree, but at least we kind of know a mindset of, okay, I can see your reasoning. I still think it's wrong, but I can see it. But the problem is that if the red card, the thing is as well, is that David Moyes, say for instance, he came out and said, if he did come out and say, that was awful decision. FA will fine him, but they'll also rescind the red card because they know it was an awful decision. Where's the logic in that?
They're allowed. They're allowed criticism. 100%. They're allowed criticism.
I don't know why they're so protected over it, and it's just fine. Okay, fine David Moyes 10 grand, but that 10 grand that you're fining him, use it for better training towards the referees, because clearly you're fining them for no reason. You can't fine someone and go, you can't say that. Oh, but he has got a point. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
One thing that I think would massively help, and that I don't understand why it doesn't happen, is at the end of the game, you get Sky Sports, you get Match of the Day, you get whoever, you get the local press saying, we're requesting an interview with the manager and with certain player.
Yeah.
That 99% of the time gets approved. The manager will go out and talk, and
regardless of the decision. Yeah.
And a player or two will go out and talk as well. Even after, like, take for example the Southampton game. The Southampton players would still have gone out and done their post-match interviews as normal, even though they wouldn't have wanted to.
No way.
So why can't Sky Sports, Match of the Day, whoever, go and request, I want an interview with Mike Dean after the game. This isn't criticism, this isn't bias, this isn't anything like that. I just want to understand his viewpoint on the decision that was made.
Because a lot of people do not. And the thing is, let's take, for example, Jankovic, obviously 79 seconds in, and it's a blatant red card. It was so obvious, it was a dangerous tackle. You expect him, after making a poor decision, to come out, apologise, sorry, I don't know what's going wrong, that's my bad, I'll be better again. He's got a 3-match ban for it. Referees make that kind of mistake, sending a red card for no reason. There's no apology, there's no 2-match ban, or go to the Championship for a game or so. Do you know what I mean? No disrespect to the Championship, League 1, League 2, but do you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know what a punishment would be for refs.
Yeah, I know it's kind of poor timing with what's gone on, but remember after the Man City Arsenal game when David Luiz had that shocker of a game, got sent off, gave away a penalty.
He came out, didn't he?
He was the first to be interviewed after the game and say, look, I need to put this right, I need to explain what happened. And I think if they brought the referees out to kind of just understand the thought process of everything, it wouldn't just make it better for the fans, they can kind of see it from their viewpoint, but it also kind of makes the referees look a bit more sort of human. Because we've probably watched most of the referees in the Premier League referee possibly 100 games each. Like a huge amount.
Yeah, oh god, yeah.
Okay, so how many of them there's voices, do you know?
I have no, Mike Dean, because of course you do, because it's, no, I get it, and Peter Walton as well.
Oh, I hate Peter Walton. He will die on the hill defending referees, no matter what the decision is.
He'll always agree with the VAR, won't he?
Even if it's massively wrong, he will die on that hill. He will be that argument. He'll be that voice of non-reason.
But I guess maybe, like, if we on the conversation of Mike Dean, if he would have come out at the end of that and said, yeah, it was a red card, I stand by it. Even if it gets rescinded, it will still say, no, it was a red card. It was a red card. Absolutely it was. Do you know what I mean? It's the Mike Dean show. And
but then if he does, he can explain as to what it was that he saw and what the information was that Stockley Park has given him. I know, why can't they broadcast the discussion while Mike Dean is at the screen between Mike Dean and Stockley Park?
Yeah, they do that.
This is what you want you to look at. Yeah.
I absolutely need to hear that. Yeah.
I get that you can't kind of have it mic'd up constantly because of the language used by Premier League players. But at that point, there are no Premier League players around the referee.
No,
so,
not while you're looking at the screen. Exactly. Yeah.
So why can't it be broadcasted? It just seems common sense, to be honest.
No, it does. Of course, it does, because you just sat in silence, looking at lines, with the offsides, and then you're looking at the referee, looking at this angle, this angle, this angle, and it's like, what is he asking? What does he want to know about this angle? It's very clearly either a red card or it's not. But that's about 10 to 12 minutes on Mike Dean. That's enough airtime.
He will love that.
It's enough airtime for him, I'm afraid. I can't
He'll be
keep
listening.
going on.
He'll be listening because it'll be about him.
Yeah, tell your friend, Lee Mason.
Lee Mason.
Not friends, friend.
Yeah.
Southampton. You can't lose 9-0 two seasons in a row. You can't. I mean, right. Okay. I think the red card didn't help. I don't think Southampton were winning that game if, after 11 men or do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And obviously your game plan, a tough game. 79 seconds in, your game plan's out the window. Not ideal. But 9, you can't, that's no excuse for letting in 9, regardless of how many men you've got on the pitch. Like, you just can't. What's happened? What's happened to Southampton? He was on the floor crying because he beat Jurgen Klopp, and now he's on the floor crying because he's got spanked 9-0.
I just feel so sorry for them. Like I like the kind of process that they're having at the moment with Southampton. They're a top mid-table team.
I like Southampton. I've got nothing against them.
They're not going to go down, and I'd say they're a little way off regular Southampton in Europa again. But they're a top mid-table team. I like them, and I just felt so sorry for them seeing that scoreline. I reckon they'd have rather it been 10-1. It should have been 9-1, shouldn't it?
Well, as I said, there's another thing as well. I think they were 4-0 down at that time in the game. Now, again, not saying it's going to change anything. It might have spurred them on to maybe try again for another. I don't know. It's that lift, isn't it? Scoring a goal, knowing we could score a goal. How was that offside? I've looked at that image more times than Mike Dean looked at that replay for Soucek, and I still can't find out what part of him is offside.
Let me try and find it.
Because the angle is behind them. No, the angle's in front of them.
Oh, God.
That is Elliot looking at the image for the first time, I'm guessing.
No, I would have seen it, but yeah, I really don't know.
Exactly.
Because you can give that. I think Che Adams is getting played onside by Fred's left foot, Harry Maguire's left foot, and possibly Fred's left knee as well.
Well, what I noticed with that when they were looking at the gap, when they were doing the lines, lines. I can't be arsed with lines in football. But he did it twice, almost like he didn't believe it was offside the first time. And the image, it's about perspective. It's the camera angle is slightly in front of them. If you get them dead centre, what is he going to look like then? Is he going to be quite a bit onside, a little bit? You don't know, do you? And it's difficult without having a camera on like every yard of the pitch.
Yeah, and the thing is though, like I played football as a kid, and I'm sure you were told as well at the same sort of age, level is onside. There is no such thing as level anymore. That's the problem.
No, it's not. That's where the lines come out, and
it's just frustrating, and you think it wouldn't have changed the result, but it wouldn't have been 9-0.
No, exactly. I don't want to sound like the old Accrington manager Paul Tisdale, but I'm rapidly falling out of love with football. It's just... it's just frustrating, and you see so many long stoppages for stuff that doesn't need to be done, and then it's again though, I love football so much. It's something that I have just, you don't start a podcast about football, you don't love it. And I just feel like we've done, I think this is our 37th or 38th episode, and I feel like 30 of them we've just complained about football. And that's not what you need to do. That's not why you should start it. You need to love it, and we're just not.
And the other 8 episodes were about German football, because that's all that was on.
That's all that was on, that's it, yeah. So football was back and we were happy, but then I think one of the first Premier League games we watched, what was it? That Nyland walked the ball in the back of the net, but because goal line technology said no, not over the line.
It's kind of just all happened since then.
But yeah, this Premier League season is weird. It's just, I can't. I think every time we say this, the team that's always at the top of the league goes on a horrible run of form. Yeah. But I feel like I'm happy to say Manchester City are winning this league.
Yeah, it looks it, doesn't it?
They're so good.
Yeah.
And you beat Liverpool 4-1 at Anfield. Now, what's happened before we go on to that game, obviously midweek, Liverpool lose 1-0 to Brighton. And then you've obviously lost 4 quite comfortably to this Man City squad. Now, I don't know what's happened there. It seems like they've just lost belief. I know injuries and everything's become a bit of an issue. Fabinho's back, which was is a big plus for any, even though he's not a centre back, but he's bloody good.
Yeah.
But you've signed a centre back from Preston, and you've also signed a centre back from Schalke on loan, Kobach or something like that. Kavak. Why are we not giving him a chance and putting Henderson into midfield? Because Henderson is wasted at centre back. He's got that drive to go forward, and he's got good passing range. We always take the mick. He likes to pass backwards or side to side, but he could get a ball, he can get a counter going, he can get a move started. But at centre back, he's not there. So why not? I know we're throwing him into the deep end. You have no choice. You haven't got a centre back.
Yeah, a couple of things on that. Two weeks ago, it was the most open Premier League title race in years, and then 3 days ago, Paddy Power paid out on Man City to win the league, which just shows how quickly it moves. And then also, secondly, because obviously Fabinho and Henderson are having to play at the back because of mainly the injuries to Van Dijk and Gomez. But with those injuries to 2 players, you've essentially lost 4, because Fabinho and Henderson, they are title-worthy players in midfield. Henderson is just a stopgap. He's a 7 or 8 out of 10 in midfield, and he's a 4 or 5 out of 10 in defence. And then Fabinho's probably slightly better. Well, he is better in defence than Henderson, but it's really taking so much away from their midfield as well as just their defence. And obviously now the news that Matip's out for the season as well.
I know.
And obviously I expect Kabak will be a decent enough player. He's played top level football, and he's sort of a big prospect. He's still very young and
20, I think, isn't he?
I wouldn't be surprised if they paid the 18 million fee to get him permanently, especially with what's going on with their centre backs. But this one from Ben Davis from Preston, that just seems like a gamble. It just seems getting a centre back in because he's a centre back.
When Jurgen Klopp in an interview says that normally we wouldn't look to Preston for a centre back, but obviously in the state we were in, we had to look elsewhere. We saw him and we thought he was good. That he's literally just said, "Yeah, we're desperate."
Yeah,
we
stuck Sky Sports on and Preston were on, and this lad did the clearance.
I just went on to Foothead, and I had a look at Championship high-rated centre backs, and he's got good stats, so I thought I might go and buy him. No, it's good for him. I mean, good for Ben Davies. He'll probably get a couple of games towards the end of the season, and then he'll probably be loaned back out to Preston or something. He's not there to challenge Van Dijk and Gomez. No, he might. Who knows? He could be. Do you know?
The weird thing is he's not even the best Ben Davies defender in the top half of the Premier League, and the other Ben Davies isn't that good.
He's not amazing, no. But I'm just a bit because he's been on the bench the past 2 games as Kabak, and he just why not give him a go?
Why isn't he in? Yeah, because he's a centre back, and you can push Henderson into midfield.
But as bad as Liverpool have been, obviously Dr. Tottenham helped them out with their winning and their lack of scoring goals. But then after that, they've just seemed to falter a little bit. Now, Man City are just too good. They are too good. They lost 2-0 to Tottenham on the 21st of November 2020, where Tottenham were potentially title challengers. I don't know who was title challengers at that month. You get a different team a month, don't you? Since then, they have not lost a single game, drawing only 2 of them. And those draws against Man United and West Brom. And they've conceded since the 21st of November, in all competitions, they've conceded 5 goals.
Jeez.
And in that time, there was a sub-goalkeeper for a few of them because Ederson was injured.
First of all, though, from that stat, how on earth did Bilic get sacked at West Brom? That just makes it look even worse. But yeah, they are looking kind of a bit reminiscent of the Centurions, and they're looking kind of back to their best. And I mean,
last season was a blip.
I didn't see Man City's star goal scorer being Ilkay Gundogan, to be fair. But that's a big surprise.
Just about to come on to him. What a season he is having.
What an
Oh
impact.
my God, this is... Where has this come from? Have they always had this Gundogan?
I don't know, but
How do you say it?
I mean, he also missed a penalty as well. If he'd have scored that, he'd have had a hat-trick away at Anfield. That's incredible. I mean, I think with his second, he did try his best to miss it from 2 yards out, middle of the goal, hitting it off the top of the bar, off the underside of the bar. But he is looking outstanding, and also big sort of shout out to Phil Foden, who is again looking incredible.
Phil Foden is right now probably England's second best player.
After Kane?
Yeah, I think Kane's this season. Kane's having a assist and goals. He's having a fantastic season. But
I mean, England have 3 young, creative midfielders that are bordering world class. Foden, Grealish, the amount of numbers that he's bringing out this season, and also someone who gets a lot of stick but gets a lot of man of the matches as well. It's Mason Mount.
Mason Mount is brilliant.
Well, also, you could mention James Maddison as well. He's looking outstanding.
Madison's brilliant. Sancho is always been consistently brilliant. Sterling, maybe not so much this season. He seems to have faltered off a little bit, but he's still got that, ability. Then you've got Kane up top, obviously the season he's having. You've seen the impact Harry Kane has on Tottenham. They've lost 3 games in a row when he's not been playing. He went off obviously against Liverpool, and then they lost to Brighton and Chelsea. He comes back into the team. It is a Harry Kane team, but there are times, obviously, he's not the worst player to rely on, if you know what I mean. Barcelona without Messi are not amazing. We've seen Barcelona play without Messi.
We've seen them, yeah. We unfortunately haven't seen them seen them with Messi.
Real Madrid without Ronaldo, look at them. Do you know what I mean? And it's not... I get it. You have to build... They very clearly built a team around Kane because he is the best player... England's best player, one of the best strikers in the world, not just the Premier League, the world. So of course you're probably going to build a team around him and his style of play. And when that goes out the window, you saw Tottenham were awful. They were slow. They were no urgency to get forward. Son looked a little bit lost because there just didn't seem like there was any creativity for him.
Focal point, was there?
No. Kane comes back into the team. Look at him. I know it's West Brom, but this is a West Brom team that have taken points from Man City, Liverpool.
They convincingly won.
It was a good play. And Foden, he has to be England's answer to Messi. He's got to be an English Messi type. He's dribbling, he's ball control, his
finishing. What a hit it was!
God, yeah, completely beat Alisson. Alisson.
I mean, he handed 2 of them away, but with that Foden goal, I don't even think Alisson at his best would have stopped it because it was the pace that beat him.
Absolute power, pure power. And I'm excited for the Euros if
Euro
Southgate
2020.
wasn't in charge. Yeah, I know. It's
it gets sweet, but yeah.
Who knows what the World Cup will hold next year if Southgate is still in charge. But I just feel like you get an attacking manager in charge of Kane, Sancho, Grealish, Maddison, Foden, Sterling.
Because we need to be playing. I mean, get Grant McCann in charge because we need to be playing 4-3-3. But yeah, please just take him off our hands. But
no, let's come on to Alisson. Now, I wanted to... if it was my old TV, I would have thrown my remote at it. Because when Martin Tyler tries to make the excuse, it's cold outside... you think, no, he's just having... Right, it's an off game. It's very clearly an off game. He is a major reason why Liverpool have 6 Champions Leagues instead of 5. He's a major reason why Liverpool have won their first league in 30 years. He's without a doubt, one of the best keepers in the league. You're allowed an off day. Now, you say you're allowed an off day. That was quite an off day. That was an off day.
Half.
What happened? The first one, it looked a bit, it looked like he was at least tempting to clear the ball, and it just fell to Foden, unlucky person to fall to. The second one, he literally looked at Bernardo Silva and went, "Do you want it? There you go, you have it." And there was no attempt. I don't get it. I don't get what was the...
You think, was it with the first one, he's on the edge of the box and he's got a Man City player next to him, and it's just it just seemed to be no thought process there. But yeah, it is an off day, and when you've got as many games for Liverpool as he has, and it's the first sort of notable off day, it's not bad going.
No, but I did have to rub my eyes a bit because I thought Adrian was in goal, but no, it was Alisson. No. But are we quite comfortable saying Man City have pretty much got the league wrapped up?
It would take some drop off, wouldn't it? It really would.
Well, anything can happen, I guess, but they're just convincing.
Also, it's worth noting, you mentioned Sterling when you were talking about our young English, our English creative players. And I think they said that goal today was his 100th under Pep Guardiola.
Yes,
I thought that's
and
incredible.
There's the two players above him are Sergio Aguero and Lionel Messi.
Wow.
It's
not bad
going, is it?
Yeah, it's not bad company to be in, not at all.
No, and to be fair, he's only 20 off Aguero. If Guardiola stays another 2 seasons, Sterling could easily be
next season
second.
If
he gets
because they're talking about Aguero moving on a free.
Yeah.
And so is Sterling going to get 20 goals in all competitions between now and the end of next season? Probably.
Oh, well, that's not a bad shout. He said he likes to play midfielders through the middle, and obviously it worked today with Foden. He was ridiculous, but
yeah.
Sterling, I think, has had a few games that I don't think it's quite worked out. But I mean, he scored again today, so you can't.
Yeah.
You can't doubt that. But no, I know we've gone past it as well, but very quickly, just before you move on to the EFL, David Luiz got sent off and Bednarek got sent off as well. Bednarek got rescinded. David Luiz didn't. Discuss. Very quickly.
I mean, that David Luiz one, I was looking at the time, like, is it even much of a foul? Because it's like...
He's running in the back of his heel clips his knee.
There really isn't a lot there at all.
What are you supposed to do there?
I mean, I think basically they've both got to be rescinded, to be honest.
Yeah.
But there has been talks, who knows how true they are, but there's been mentions of, because of how the Arsenal players reacted on social media, maybe that had something to do with it, because it was all very much criticism of the referee.
There you go, referee protected again. It was a shocking decision. I just... Listen, we've all had jobs where there are terms and conditions, for instance. You probably... I know I've dealt with customers, terms and conditions say this, they say this. Yeah. But you look at it and you think... Okay, I get it.
Yeah,
I'll bend I'll bend it slightly. I'll try and help you out a little bit here. Now, he went down because there was contact from David Luiz for a clear goal scoring opportunity in the box. It's a red card, but letter of the law, that is a red card. The back of his heel hit his knee. There was no intent from David Luiz to bring him down. There was nothing. Why are we not looking at that going right?
Yeah, because
a clear goal scoring opportunity has been stopped, and I get that, but it wasn't. There was no intent to stop that.
Because I think, the wording is that if it's a clear goal scoring opportunity and there's an attempt for the ball, it's a penalty and a yellow card. But if there's no attempt for the ball, it's a red card. Now,
and that was there to protect goalkeepers, I think it was, wasn't it, coming out of their line?
But there's no attempt at the ball because there's no attempt at the player.
Sorry, David Luiz isn't as quick as William Jose, so he gets a red card for it.
It's a real shocker. But then talking on sort of controversial decisions, what do you make of the Salah penalty?
He makes a meal of everything, doesn't he? He really does. He's being pulled back, and I don't know if some players have a mindset. Maybe they forget VAR is in action. Like, obviously, the Fabinho penalty for Sterling. He left his leg out. I think he meant to maybe at least try and put him off or something. Because you know how Sterling's trying to dribble around them. Maybe he's put a leg in to try and cause a divert. I don't know. But I feel like sometimes when a player is playing, they forget VAR is in action. So you have to then show that you are being fouled. But not realise that if you are physically being held back, that VAR will look at that and go, well, look at he's very clearly being held back. Look how literally VAR has taken everything this season.
Yeah.
As you said last week, but obviously it wasn't aired because, again, apologies. We'll back this up to a hard drive. Matty Cash didn't do enough squats. You know what I mean? Danny Ings didn't get a goal because he didn't do enough squats. So I think it is a foul because he is being held back by Diaz, and I think his arm is being pulled. And if you're going on the letter of the law, he is stopping. There's no attempts. Do you know what I mean? And God, he makes him. He doesn't help himself. The way he falls to the floor is just like, you're not helping. I don't know. I think it was a foul, but I didn't want to give it purely because of his reaction, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
What about you? Why did you ask? Do you not think it's a foul?
I mean, it's a foul, but he's made the most of it. It's the way that he's holding his arm and he's gone down as if his ankles are taken.
He does that with every time he's pulled, isn't it? Like
it's a foul, but it sort of just leaves a bit of a sour taste, really.
Yeah, exactly. And no, I agree. Right, Bournemouth have overachieved in the past 4, 5, 6 years. Get to the Premier League, stay in there under Eddie Howe. Obviously, they've gone down to the Championship, but they're still challenging. They're in the playoffs. There's still that hope to get promoted again. And Jason Tindall has his first blip and he gets sacked for it. Now, I think that's harsh. I think that's quite harsh on him, because Bournemouth, to have that expectation of Bournemouth in, to be in the playoffs challenging for promotion, I get it. You've got the mindset of you are a Premier League club, but you have to remember that. Do you know what I mean? There was no words there. It was just a lot of expressions. But
yeah, no, I 100% get what you mean. It's Jason Tindall's first real experience in managing. I mean, he had a year at Weymouth in 2007, but first proper managerial experience. And it's the first time there's ever been a tough spell. And that's what develops managers. That's what you get through that spell, and it teaches you for your next one, because they're going to happen. They happen with everyone. Look at Liverpool now. Man City have had their tough spell. There was questions a few weeks ago, will Man City get top 4? And look at them now. You learn by losing, pretty much.
Yeah.
And they should have backed him, really. But I get Bournemouth's decision, because with the world in the financial way it is at the moment, and the sort of implications that go with promotion, they've got to ensure that they get promoted.
Yeah, but if you win the playoffs, that's more money than if you get promoted, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know how it works. It's ridiculous. But the problem is they brought in Jonathan Woodgate as a senior first team coach, I think, a couple of weeks ago. I think that was writing on the walls already. You can't bring in someone as a senior first team coach. Just calling them manager. Yeah, you're co-managers.
It reminded me of it was a long, long time ago, but who was the nutty one that took over at Newcastle? Joe Kinnear. Joe Kinnear. He came in as some weird board person, and within a month he was manager after even calling into TalkSport drunk with Johan Kebab. I thought it was Johan Kebab instead of Kabai. But yeah, it just seems quite sort of reminiscent of that, really. And it's something that it just leaves a sour taste. it just seems a little bit snaky.
Yeah, no. Woodgate won his first game 3-2 against Birmingham, which took a late goal, but they did seal it. So I think he's pretty much odds on to take over as Bournemouth manager, Jonathan Woodgate. Now, he didn't exactly do amazing at Middlesbrough. Is that the ambition you want? I mean, I say, is that the ambition you want? You got Frank Lampard, who's now available. Lampard
is a very good shout as well, because obviously he's I can't remember what relation it is. Is it Harry Redknapp's nephew or something?
Nephew, yeah.
And Harry Redknapp has always had connections with Bournemouth, and I think that's where he lives. I think that is where he lives now. And you think the only thing that maybe doesn't quite line up for Lampard is that maybe it's just too soon after losing his dream job.
Yeah, no, I get it. He might want a break. He might want a break. That's totally understandable. But it's not a bad shout. Obviously, Eddie Howe. He's obviously his name's always thrown about, but I think he won't go back. Yeah, I think there's bigger plans for him with England. The England job, I think, for him. But
see that.
Yeah, but no, it's a shame to see. I said it's 6 months in charge, but Bournemouth have these ambitions. They want to do it. As I said, with that win at the weekend, they're now 5 points adrift of outside the playoffs, so they've done a good little safety net for them. And okay, off automatic promotions, you're 9 points off. But the way Brentford have been playing, they won 4-1 at Middlesbrough, and this is a Middlesbrough team who are challenging for playoffs. And they've convincingly beat them 4-1. And Norwich at the top again, who, all right, they lost 2-0 to Swansea. They've not had a good run of form. Obviously, the last 3 games, they've drawn 2 and lost 1. But before that, oh my word, it's all green with the win. So I think playoffs is a realistic shot for Bournemouth to go back to the Premier League. And they're there. So I'm unsure as to the decision, but good luck to whoever's in charge.
Yeah.
Elliot. Now, yes. I do apologise on behalf of Gillingham for not stopping Lincoln, at least, gain some points. But even if we didn't help.
It would have helped.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the loss against Burton. That's a tough one to take, really. They're bottom of the league. They're bottom. It's not just they're bottom at the moment. They're bottom. They were 5 points off 23rd before the start of the game. And they've conceded the most goals in the league, and we had 0 shots on target against them. And it was always coming, the late goal. It was just, I've used the phrase before, it's typical City. It's what we do. First of all, we never win the easy games. or on paper, easy games, because Burton did make it difficult for us. But, like, what's happening? Like, they're the type of games we should be comfortably winning. They've conceded 51 goals this season. We've only scored 2 of them. And we've got ambitions to be top of the league. And I've got good memories of that terrace at Burton. Not only was Burton the last game we went to, which on Monday, so tomorrow for us and yesterday for you, is 1 year since we last watched a game.
It's your last watched game live, yeah.
And then my other happy memories of Burton are from 5-0. Even Will Keane scored. It was 2 or 3 days after we were sat in La Liga's box watching Real Madrid against Atletico Madrid at the Bernabeu. Like, from one extreme to the other. Like, it was from one extreme to the other, and I can't say convincingly which one I preferred, because one is sort of real football. It's on the terrace. It's with an awful cup of hot chocolate. You know, the ones where all the chocolate stuff stuck at the bottom, and the rest of it is just sort of murky water. It feels like you're drinking from the Thames.
And the chips, where if you salt them, you only salt the first 4 or 5. The ones at the bottom,
because it just sticks.
Yeah, the ones at the bottom are just they're not salted as well.
That's authentic football, and you compare that to what we did 3 or 4 days previous, where I missed Antoine Griezmann's equalising goal because I was getting handed tuna lasagna.
Tuna lasagna as well. I still can't quite get my head around that, but yeah, no, I agree. I miss football. I miss that about football, like being cold, wet, rainy. But
I would have loved it to have been there yesterday. I would have loved it, even losing. I'd have loved to have been on that terrace and to vent a little bit at Grant McCann.
Now, Hull are in obviously dangerous territory at the moment of going into the playoffs on an automatic. One reason in particular is Doncaster, because Donny, holy hell, they've won their last 9 games out of the 10. Ridiculous form. Incredible. And they have 3 games in hand over Hull, and they're level on points at the moment. I don't know how they're level on points, because Hull, you've got exactly the same amount of goals scored and exactly the same amount of goals conceded, and you've won the exact same amount of games. Yep. So I don't know why that puts Hull above Donny.
Might be head to head.
Have Hull and Donny face each other this season?
I'm pretty sure we beat them at home.
Oh yeah, beat them 2-1 at home. Oh, fair enough then. Yeah. So, but yeah, 3 games in hand and level on points. They win their next game. Doncaster's next game is against a struggling Fleetwood on Tuesday, since obviously they sacked Jerry Barton. That's it. Hull are in playoffs, not in automatic anymore. And Peterborough have a game in hand over Hull again. 2 points off Hull City. Peterborough's game in hand is against Ipswich. A bit more of a challenging game, but the dip in form that Hull have been going through at the moment has been
Portsmouth too. Yeah. Portsmouth have a game in hand, 3 points behind us.
That's it. And their next game is against Swindon, who, are not struggling near the bottom.
Not good at the moment.
And like even Charlton, like the whole playoffs, there's only there's 5 points in the whole playoffs between automatic, where Hull are at the moment, and 6th.
And we really need to address this sort of run of form, really. And we lost on penalties midweek in the Pete's Cup against Lincoln. And Lincoln, after watching them midweek and after watching them on Friday night against Gillingham, they are going nowhere. They're brilliant. They're staying up there. The word I'd use to describe them is efficient, because they are. I've probably watched every team in the league at some point this season in League One, and there isn't a team that I've come across that are more organised than Lincoln. They seem to just defend as one and get their attack very well, and they score a lot of goals from not a lot of shots.
Yeah. Obviously, worryingly, Doncaster beat Lincoln, so good luck there. But obviously, it's Hull Lincoln midweek on Tuesday, so that's
a must win. Must win, really.
But no, obviously, watching firsthand, speaking of Gillingham played good. I don't think there was... Right, each of the goals, there was a bit of a lapse in concentration defensively. I think it was a bit too easy to get by them. The dribbling... I think it was the third goal, I think, where he headed it in close range.
Yeah, it was...
To get into the box, I think, was far too easy. And you can definitely see Gillingham's game plan. Get it to Graham, cross the ball in. And Ryan Jackson's throws are ridiculous.
Yep.
It's a set piece every time. But I didn't think there was much to be disappointed with. I think we especially the first half, we really managed the game well. We've tacked. Don't think Lincoln quite saw what was going on, if you know what I mean. It felt like we took them by surprise a bit. But then that first goal goes in from McGrandles, I think he had a crack. He had a cracker game that game, didn't he? I think that's where we were a bit like, these are quite good. And then second half, Just efficient, just ended it, yeah.
The first goal was very well taken. It was just a great team move, to be honest. It showed why Lincoln probably won't be in League One next season. It was very well worked. And then the second one is a questionable penalty, especially in a physical division. And then the third is just a sucker punch. It's just knock the stuffing out of them. It's done. But
that's it.
I was relatively impressed by Gillingham, to be honest. I didn't really think they did too much wrong.
No, and my favourite stat of all time is Steve Evans having more yellow cards than any player currently playing at Gillingham. He has 2 more yellow cards than the highest player with yellow cards for Gillingham. 2 more. Now, it's a stat where you hear and I do believe when the commentator said it, I think the first words that came out of my mouth were,
makes sense.
Not really. Oh my God, that's ridiculous. I just accepted it. I was like, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, and it's funny.
What I love about that is that if the deadline hadn't have passed in December or whatever it was, would Steve Evans have had a 1-game suspension?
I don't know how that works. That's a good point, actually. Obviously, having Steve Evans in charge with that kind of discipline, you'd be surprised to know that Gillingham are actually 4th from bottom in the yellow cards list.
Okay, so they're very unlike the manager. I'm sure that Steve Evans will be gutted reading that.
Well, the thing is, Gillingham are 20th in the yellow card table. You add Steve Evans' yellow cards to that, they go 13th.
That's more like it, yeah.
It's brilliant. It was a fantastic stat, and I'm losing hope of playoffs. I've settled in for League One next season, I think. What do you know what happened next season? It will come to January. I'll be like, next season we'll kick off. We'll win a few games. We'll be like, this is it. We've got it. We've got this in the bag. And then we'll lose 10 in a row and we'll win 5 in a row. It's just that up and down. I've said it before. We're on League One next season. Or we could win the next 10 in a row, beat Hull in the playoffs, and my prediction will come true. Imagine if that happens.
I would be gutted, but I don't know if I would rather. I don't know if there's no team I would rather lose to, or no team I would hate to lose to more than Gillingham in the playoffs.
I know for a fact that you will not want to. You'll call in sick for the recording of that episode. Oh, I got COVID. Didn't you have the vaccine like a couple of months ago? Oh yeah, vaccine.
Yeah, it's a new variant.
Yeah, it's a brand new variant. But no, Donny Lincoln have been brilliant, and I'm looking forward to that whole Lincoln game, because I feel like that's pretty much, that would be make or break for Hull in the automatics, nearly, especially with the role Doncaster is. Could
be massive. I mean, it's a tough one to think, would I take a draw at this stage? Because I don't think we will draw.
And interesting,
very good.
And obviously, just want to make a quick point as well before we end. Interesting to know, Bradford. Now, they don't have a manager. They have a temporary. I think they've got 2 people in charge. I think they've got 2 temporary managers. And yesterday, they lost their first game in 9. Ridiculous. Oh, wow. Absolutely ridiculous. Now, let me just double check that is correct with the 2 managers. I'm sure it's 2. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, they've got Mark Truman and Connor Sellers. They are the interim managers at Bradford City at the moment. And their last 8 games before their loss: 1-0 Crawley, 1-0 Cambridge, 2-1 Grimsby, 1-0 Tranmere, 0-0 with Port Vale, 0-0 with Cambridge, top of the league Cambridge, by the way. Beat Southend 3-1 and beat Barrow 2-1. So these are like Southend, Barrow, these are your relegation kind of candidates that you don't want to be losing to, and they beat them quite comfortably and give them the job.
The only time that I can think of there ever being sort of joint managers before is, I know that on Salford's way up to the Football League they had joint managers, but that is the only occasion I can ever think of that ever happening, and I'm just interested to sort of know kind of how that works.
Well, with that form that Bradford have been on, they've given themselves a 10-point buffer from the relegation point zone. So huge. Obviously, Grimsby and Southend occupy that at the moment. Southend only being 3 points off relegation. Now, you consider at the start of the season, like, what is it, Christmas-wise, before Christmas, we were
I don't think they've won a game till November.
haven't won a game yet. So, and obviously, we were talking about them not long ago being on a good run of form, but the through-goal curse hits again. Because out of the last 5 games, they've drawn 1 and lost 4. So, sorry, we won't ever talk about it ever again. I don't think we should ever. With that
through-on-goal curse, I would just like to congratulate Lincoln on their incredible run of form at the moment.
Well done. Right. Right, we come on to No Context News to end the podcast. Elliot finds a random news headline from around the world. I don't know what it is. He never tells me. He'll say the headline. We'll try and coherently end the podcast. I understand that we don't really script it. We just kind of say we're somewhere. Find us. Bye-bye. But Elliot, no pressure, but all in one go, please. And yeah, Elliot, take it away.
So yeah, we've gone international with the news this week. It's from the New Zealand Herald. And you might have seen it elsewhere because it's kind of gone semi-viral. But the headline is simply, watch me whip, watch me nay-nay. Watch me allegedly shoot my cousin in the street and be arrested for his murder as rapper Silento is arrested for the murder of his cousin. So...
What? How? What? That doesn't coherently fit at all with anything.
I don't like doing no context news about sort of deaths and that, but that was too good. Watch me whip, watch me nay-nay.
2021. I don't like talking about headlines with deaths, but that was too good.
Watch me allegedly shoot my cousin in the street and be arrested for his murder. But,
is that the new remix?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, thank you very much for listening, and I hope you've enjoyed the No Context News as much as the podcast. But yeah, we're kind of wherever you get your podcast, we're everywhere. If you've got this far, you know where to find us because you're listening to us. But thanks very much for listening, and we will speak to you again very soon. We'll be on next Tuesday and every other Tuesday that there isn't COVID or technical issues.
Yeah, we'll get those sorted. We're back next Tuesday with the quiz. The quiz is returning.
Yes.
And yeah, we'll speak to you then. I've been Sam.
I've been Elliot.
And enjoy your week, and we'll see you next week. Tell your friends. Bye.
Tell your friends. Bye-bye.